All in Sports Network. We love sports.
It is Wednesday, August 13th, right here on your daily fix for all things Texas Longhorns. I'm Tanner Carlson. That is Jake Jimerson, and this is All In Horns presented to you by Rogue Sports Network. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Oklahoma Sooners on the All In Horns podcast. Well, a player from the Oklahoma Sooners, Venmo'Gate, John Mateer, and his wild Venmo story of sports gambling and, well, let's just say other questionable purchases that have been leaked as well. So we're going to go over that a little bit, but on a more broad spectrum of what today's episode is going to be about, Texas Longhorns apparently had a very good day at practice where Sark couldn't even kind of downplay it in his press conference. Jake and I have had the what is it, a theory, I guess, or of coach speak from Sark throughout training camp of just kind of like not getting the guys too confident about themselves or too big-headed about saying how good practices have been, especially at the quarterback position or this, that, or the other, of just saying, yeah, it was an okay practice. But over the last couple of days, he said he has been extremely impressed, and the guys had a very good day on the practice field. So we're going to go over that. Kind of some of the comments that Sark had mentioned in today's episode. But Jake, we got to get down into it, man. Venmo'Gate. This is one of the wilder stories and could face serious repercussions for the Oklahoma Sooners, depending on what the NCAA ruling comes down on. But transfer quarterback John Mateer, he has had his Venmo history. His transactions were made public, and a lot of it was, sports betting, UCLA, USC games, and just basically paying his bookie through Venmo. And, on Venmo, you have to give a description of what the purchase is, and he was flat out talking or just flat out putting, betting on this game. And I think it was 2022 where the purchases
were
USC,
from. UCLA. I know that. I think it was 2022.
But yeah, I think the date had
and it was the day. It was the day after the game as well. He of course has come out and denied it and made a post saying it's an inside joke, which a lot of people do. I mean, some funny. I don't know if they were real or not. I didn't confirm, but there were some funny ones coming out from Arch Manning that to Will Randall. His tight end and his buddy from high school as well. That's a tight end now at Texas with him. That said, I think it just said butt stuff on there. And I know when I've sent you some Venmos in the past, I've said some not pleasant things in there. I keep mine private though because I have a brain. Yeah, that's what confuses me of this is Mateer anyone because. All of a sudden, this opened up the floodgates of I was just seeing every SEC player's Venmo transactions and what they were putting. And of course, 75% of them are inappropriate.
Yeah. Well, and like one guy said, one of the comments, Ryan McCoy, according to my Venmo, I've sold my mom all sorts of illegal drugs. I mean, people put whatever they want on the descriptions. But I do want to go over some of the quote unquote inside joke descriptions of what John Mateer has purchased with his friends in the past. And this is a time where if you've got kids in the car and you're listening to us, you might want to just, turn it down, skip ahead 30 seconds because some of these get pretty graphic. So there's your warning. There's your parental guidance. And here we go. On May 27th, 2023, John Mateer paid Kyle Thornton for big fat cock.
Are you sure these ones are real? I didn't see these ones.
On April 13th, 2023, John Mateer paid Quinn McCarthy slapping some balls. John Mateer paid Hudson Cedarland on April 8th, 2023 for turning gay. And John Mateer paid Quinn Roth on March 23rd, 2023, gay boy. So
see, those are funny jokes. Saying sports betting, USC, UCLA in parentheses, a lot less funny.
But yeah, okay. So the ones that were actually posted November 20th, 2022, sports gambling, UCLA versus USC to Richard Roten, and then also to Richard Roten, probably his bookie, November 20th, 2022, another payment, just sports gambling. Again, there are some other things too that people are like, yeah, because anytime I'm paying somebody for doing something illegal, that's exactly what I'm putting on there, like sports gambling. So we'll, in all due time, I guess, whenever this comes out, in terms of the investigation, whether that come from Oklahoma or it come from the NCAA, I'm almost certain the NCAA will investigate this and come to some sort of conclusion. But still, a hilarious story, and what a great day to be a Texas Longhorn, because it was the exact same day that the AP polls came out and Texas was ranked number 1 consensus across the board of the coaches and the AP poll. So just a great day all around to be a Longhorn.
Yeah, I honestly don't think anything's going to come of this, because what I think is going to happen is OU's going to go, we investigated ourselves, we found nothing. And then the NCAA will comment on it in 5 years. When
because that's how the NCAA works.
Yeah. So
John Mateer will be a 4th round draft pick, 3rd round draft pick, or whatever, to like the Baltimore Ravens, and he'll be in preseason, and then the NCAA will come in and be like, we actually found that he was gambling on sports back 7 years ago, and we'd like to take away one of the 3 wins that they got in 2025.
Yeah, it'll be something like that, if anything at all. I don't think anything will come of this, to be honest, because honestly, a hard thing to prove if he's not placing bets on an app and it's through a bookie that's a friend, or he's just betting with friends. There's no way to prove that unless the other guy caves, and I would doubt that's going to happen. But it is just funny, because I imagine all athletes now are going to be making their Venmo and all this stuff private, which they should. Anything you have
all be private
that you don't want to be public, that you aren't constantly monitoring, or you put something even mildly inappropriate when you have a chance to go play in the NFL, whatever, or you're on a scholarship and getting NIL deals. What you don't want to do is put things out there that jeopardize that. And
you know what I chalk this up to? This is Josh Allen in middle school posting rap lyrics on his Twitter account during the draft process. Like,
or hadn't he also posted just, I like boobies?
Yeah. I like boobs, or something like that. Like,
That should have upped his draft stock.
Yeah, skyrocketed for the Buffalo Bills. But yeah, I mean, that's what I chalk this up to 100%. Like, I don't think anything serious is going to come out of this at all. But if they do find it that he was betting on games, it is strictly prohibited by the NCAA rules and guidelines that any student athlete bets on any games throughout the country, no matter where. Even if you're a UNLV, you cannot bet on games.
Well, we saw Iowa State had multiple players who got in trouble for this just a year or two ago. I think several were dismissed from the program. So it is something that's taken pretty seriously by the NCAA and the the programs. But this is a little different because it's not on an app. Unless they find sports betting he's done on an app,
right? Unless they find like a DraftKings app or whatever, and he's been placing bets on FanDuel.
I did see some funny AI stuff, and it was like Mateer betting on OU plus 30.5 against Texas, saying they're going to cover a 30.5 point spread against Texas.
That's great.
Spread. Yeah. Texas and OU fans getting into it with that stuff. I try to stay out of that stuff now, but it was funny. Tempting to jump in there a couple times just because it was funny seeing people get all riled up, and it spread like wildfire. Because at first I saw it from an account and I was like, that's not real. Then I saw like the Barstool SEC account posted it, and I was like, not that makes it valid at all, but I was like, that's a little bit of a bigger account. Then all of a sudden it was like Josh Pay, JD Pickle or whatever his name is, and all these different guys that were major being like, seeing this Mateer situation, what's going on here? And then Joel Klatt jumped in. Everyone was jumping in all of a sudden. But I think we both said, nothing probably comes of it.
Yeah, what I'm really excited for is college game day signs. People are going to be shooting up their Venmo account. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of parodies.
The Mateer post. I retweeted it last night. and it was God, I can't find it now, of course, but it was a tweet and he probably deleted it. That's probably why it's not showing up. But it was from like several years ago, and it was just like, "That's my guy. You always bet on him," or
Oh,
something,
yeah,
just
yeah,
something like
yeah.
that.
No,
And the
and it was from
response is,
years ago. It was
here it
from
is. This is my dude. Bet on him every time. And was talking about he was just retweeting some kids' huddles, and just some of the responses that are getting put on there now are hilarious.
the Joker gif of, "Oh, very poor choice of words."
Just yeah, just being like, hey, what do you like of the over under for OU week 1? Just all types of stuff on there. The bald white guy just going into the screen.
Yeah,
This is great
yeah.
podcasting, but yeah, it created a lot of great memes last night, and it, like you said, it created a lot of great game day signs that are to come. That we'll probably have to keep track of during the year, and just I'm sure there'll be some week 1 for some
Oh, I'm
Texas
sure.
fans that travel
Yeah.
to Columbus. So it should be a fun time. That whether or not anything actually happens out of this, one thing that will happen are a lot of internet memes and a lot of signs.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of, just real quick tangent before we get into the Texas Longhorn practice report from Sark. Watched Two for the Money the other night. Great sports betting movie. Might be one of my favorite sports movies of all time. First time I'd watched it, didn't realize that Al Pacino and Matthew McConaughey were the leads in it. Also, the manager from Entourage, the actor, he's in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
perfect for a movie like that too.
Yeah, and he plays a pretty significant role. And if you're a Barstool Sports Advisor fan, it's I didn't realize Sports Advisors was based off of this movie, and you kind of have similar characters with Stu, forgetting his last name, Reiner or whatever. But
Stu Feiner.
Yeah, Stu Feiner. Yeah, from Sports Advisor. You have a character similar to him. Like, you just have like all these guys that are kind of like, you're like, oh, so I thought this was just Barstool being Barstool, but no, they actually kind of somewhat loosely base it off of this movie. So, but anyway, if you haven't seen it, big recommendation. It ended up being one of my favorite, like, I guess, quote unquote sports movies, if you count it a sports movie. But Pacino is fantastic in it.
Yeah, a movie I was kind of shocked I hadn't heard of. I feel like I'm behind the ball here on not having heard of this. I texted you about it. That's what prompted you to watch it. I didn't find this on my own. My wife, of all people, who does not like sports near to the level of me, the only sport she'll go to football games and enjoys the environment and stuff. She understands football a little better now, but she doesn't like sit down and watch the games with me. She likes hockey. She likes hockey a lot. That's the only one she'll like actually make time to watch. But she found this movie and was like, have you heard of this? And I was like, no. And I'm sure there's going to be someone in the comments going, you idiots.
Yeah, sure.
And it probably deserved, but it will be on my watch list for this week or weekend. I'm almost done with the SEC football Netflix show, which I'm sure we'll cover at some point.
Yeah, I think I have one episode left on that before we give our review. So
yeah, I have like 1.5. I'm halfway through, starting to get, or maybe 2.5 left. I don't know. I'm at the point where they're teasing us, making A&M fans rewatch that game, and it's making me hungry.
My favorite way is they set it up is it's a little foreplay action when it comes to, they do a full episode on South Carolina and leading up to the Texas A&M game and how big of a game that was for their program and their season. Obviously, they get the upset over A&M. They take care of business, and then they finish the season off really strong. Wins over Clemson, things like that. Well, then the very next episode, it leads into Texas A&M getting ready to possibly play in the SEC championship, but they have to get through a rival that they haven't played in 11 years. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to sit back and really enjoy this, because I already enjoyed the previous episode. This episode, I was like, oh, yeah. It's full on. It's not even foreplay anymore. We're just going to go all the way home run around the bases, inside the park home run. But yeah, and Kay was like sitting there. My girlfriend was sitting there, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to sit and watch this. And she was like, why? And she looked up and it was Texas highlights and talking about Texas A&M. She's like, oh, that's why. I was like, yeah, I'm just.
Also, it's a football show.
Yeah.
I don't even like Hard Knocks anymore, and I'm going to watch the Buffalo Bills Hard Knocks. Like,
I've not heard great things about the Buffalo
I mean,
Bills
Hard Knocks hasn't been good in a long time. It's just a bunch of slow motion cut ups at training camp. But guess what? That's football plays. I like football. I watch
do
football.
like. I will never not like the slow motion sprinkler system out on practice first episode.
Oh, first episode, the chill bumps. That's what gets me to watch the whole thing. Is just that.
I just need the montage of the opening scene of the facility empty. They go through the facility. They've got the practice fields being watered, and
I can smell it. I can literally smell it. I can smell the spit.
You've got equipment managers, buffing the helmets and stuff and putting the stickers on. And I'm like, ooh, yeah, I got it.
And I can smell the dip spit from the coaches and just the smell of the heat in the grass. Though a lot of them don't practice on grass, but I that's what I smell in my mind. I need a candle for that. That's what we need. We need a candle for that, just so I can light it.
You and I,
every football season.
How about we go into business together and we create football scented candles of like freshly mowed grass, dip spit.
It's probably out there already, but if it's not, I feel like it would sell well.
Jock straps, like there's got to be a market for
lineman gloves.
Yeah,
the full hand gloves,
sweaty shoulder pads.
After a season of wearing those things, because when you're in high school, you don't buy multiple pairs unless your parents are rich, because those things are expensive.
Yeah.
By the end of the season, they're so stale that you got to like put them on and sweat a little, so they start to you can be able to move
to bend.
Just be able to move your fingers, and then the smell of them could knock a person out. I mean, it could full out knock you out, and no amount of washing or whatever fixes that type of change.
I actually had a bet. So I played soccer in high school, and here come the boo birds. Woo. But I made a bet with one of my friends of who could last the longest without washing their practice gear. And
see, that's just committing yourself to being disgusting.
Yeah, dude. His sock was stiff. It was just stale. It looked like it had been in his bedroom for too long, and his mom found it under his bed. But my practice shirt, it was literally like starched. It wouldn't even crumble. Like I had to put it on and kind of sweat in it for it to move, kind of like what you're saying with your gloves. So it was
but on your whole body instead.
Yeah, it was just
just your hands,
just a t-shirt. Yeah. So anyway, all right. Hey, let's go ahead. Let's not get too far off track here, even though we already have. Sark on Monday made himself available to the media and said that that their guys just practiced their asses off and had a great Monday leading into the rest of this week, and then kind of getting into more of a scrimmage style practice. He made some notes, and Jake, I know you want to go down some of these notes. One of the first things was the first offense, second offense, and third offense all had really good drives getting inside the 5, but didn't finish those drives off with touchdowns or scores, but instead it was a great stand from the defense. And so I think what personifies that for me that really sticks out is that all three teams for the offense showed the ability to move the ball down the field. They showed some good things, but then at the end of the day, the defense also showed some really good things, and they made the stop at when it mattered the most inside the red zone.
Well, in this defense, some new players and stuff, but a lot of the core are still there. Pretty good at goal line stands last year. So that doesn't worry me too much. Of course, red zone issues have been a thing for Texas, but he did say they had a red zone specific period where offense starts in the red zone and you go from there. And I know the first team offense was very successful at scoring touchdowns during that period. And that was against the ones. So that has to make you feel pretty good. And I do think that the red zone issues are going to be maybe not week 1. That's kind of my caveat with anything when I say positive about the offense is maybe not week 1. Just that asterisk is next to any statement.
It's not to say that it won't be week 1.
It's saying Probably not.
Probably to maybe to most definitely more than
Yeah,
likely not.
but I do think as the year goes on, their red zone issues will not be as big, with a healthy running back room, hopefully, and then Arch being able to use his legs, his mobility in the pocket, being able to probably be a little bit more creative with some bootlegs and stuff if you're not able to run it in from the one. I think a lot of that stuff is going to open up the read options, speed option, all that type of stuff. It's going to open up Sark's playbook when they need a red zone touchdown and they're in the red zone. He will be able to open it up a little bit more with the playbook and hopefully finish off more drives with touchdowns.
No, yeah, I agree. And I think also the 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 fact that you've got Arch Manning, who is such a big body and can move around with his legs and extend the plays, extend the pocket. He can get sideline to sideline. He can use his body for short yardage, goal line things. I think that adds another dimension to what you can do inside the red zone. Plus, you've got running backs and a plethora of options in the backfield that you can get to. And so, and I think it just comes down to also a little bit more creativity from the offensive play calling from Sark and to free these guys up in a shorter field. And I think, again, something you and I have always talked about, Jake, when this coaching staff finds a weakness on this team or a weakness is exploited in a playoff game and it results in a loss or a regular season loss or throughout the whole season, this staff has an uncanny ability to find what that is and actually turn it around and not fix it, but make it a strength. So I wouldn't be surprised if this red zone offense was really good this year, or at least much improved.
The red zone it has been hit and miss in the last couple of years, to be fair. But I think the change at quarterback, I think this is where the change at quarterback might be most felt. I mean, the deep passing game is probably number one. I think number two is the red zone, just because he has just so much more mobility than Quinn, and Quinn was always hurt, and that limited his mobility even more when he wasn't that mobile to begin with. And so I just think it, like you said, they're really good about taking things and weaknesses into strengths. That combined with a QB that's going to be more mobile, I think a really good tool set at the wide receiver position. Also, hopefully a healthy running back room with a CJ Baxter, Jared Gibson, guys that can get you that tough yardage and can run like a pit bull when needed. I just have a hard time seeing this team struggling consistently in the red zone. Maybe a game or two against some of the best defenses. Well, that's every offense that struggles with those. But I think they'll be much more successful in the red zone, which I think will help them put away a lot of teams earlier and not let them back in the game like we've seen in some previous years.
Yeah, Sark, he mentioned the physicality. They went through a 2-minute drill, both the offense and the second team offense, kicked game-winning field goals in that period. But he talked about how he liked the competitiveness of the scrimmage and how it felt as a whole. Offense, defense, kind of going back and forth. But he really liked the physicality of this line of scrimmage. And that's really some practice reports you don't get very often from coaches, just because, quite frankly, they're not allowed to hit. You're not really allowed to be that physical in a lot of these practices. A lot of them are shells and other things. And so the fact that we got a somewhat physical practice and it impressed the coaching staff, that leaves a good taste in my mouth. That was something that I've been waiting to hear about, was the physicality, the line of scrimmage, the battle up front between offense, defense on the offense and defensive line, things like that, and shouting out some guys at those positions as well, Jake.
Yeah, I think this was the most promising kind of fall camp press conference so far from Sarkisian, because he's pretty honest as far as when it goes to coaches talking about fall camps. He'll tell you if they had a bad practice. He'll tell you if the quarterbacks are throwing a bunch of picks. He'll tell you if there's something he doesn't like, or he'll make it kind of apparent there's some things he doesn't like. So when he comes out and says something like this, something I haven't really heard him say much in the last several years, it can't do anything but generate excitement.
Yeah.
And especially with this year, I think everything is also just amplified this year because you're not preparing for Rice week 1, you're preparing for Ohio State. And I do think that probably amps up the practice a little bit too. Makes it a little bit easier to probably get your team focused and on these early days of practice, not lose focus because you got Rice week 1. Because don't forget, coming out slow in some of these week ones has been a problem for Texas. It is for a lot of teams, but they didn't look great in the first half against Rice the last couple years.
Yeah.
And so that needs to change this year with an opponent like Ohio State.
Well, that and you know, we've heard it in interviews with Sarkisian this offseason, is that it is kind of nice to have an Ohio State week one, because you can say, you know, if it's not motivating enough for your own guys, you can always kind of flip it around and say, you think Ohio State's doing this? You think Ohio State is making that kind of effort or that kind of play? You think Ohio State's going to give up on a play? You don't think that they're working their asses off to beat you guys week one and embarrass you guys week one? And then he's thinking, you know, Ryan Day is probably using the same motivation of, we knocked these guys out of the playoffs. You think that, you know, they don't want to come in here and beat the defending national champions in the first home opener of the season? And so, you know, both coaches are going to be using this Texas-Ohio State game as motivation all offseason long.
Yeah. I mean, it makes it that much easier because also you want to know what makes it even easier? Who eliminated Texas from the playoffs last year?
Yeah.
I mean, you have that because, yes, there's some freshmen, but plenty of these players were on that roster last year that experienced that loss.
And they were freshmen that were already committed and kind of like, you know, felt
bought
like
into the program and
program. Correct.
As fans, I mean, I still hurt from that loss. So I can only imagine how the players and the staff feels. So the excitement just continues to generate for week one. And I cannot wait until we get to this week one game. It's going to feel like a big drop off after week one. I'm kind of trying to prepare myself for that roller coaster of like, you hit Ohio State, and then you're going to drop off until you hit Florida.
It might be kind of nice, to be honest with you. It might be like,
it'll probably be nice because there's probably going to be some injuries in that game. It's going to be very physical
until Sam Houston State, and then you're like, okay, we're done.
Let's get it going.
Yeah, first half of Sam Houston State, I'm going to be like, okay, I'm ready for Florida. Let's move it along here. I'm ready for some real football for sure. All right. Hey, guys that he called out by name, Derek Williams, that's a fun one to hear about, at least coming back from an injury a season ago. CJ Baxter also coming back from an injury. He shouted those two guys out specifically. So that's always kind of fun to see that those guys are not only progressing well in their recovery, but they're also already making contributions in practice. Aaron Butler, Murad Watson, Alex January, among others. Those are guys on the defensive line. So that's also a promising group of guys to hear that they've made an impact in practice. And again, Jake, that's not the first time we've heard Murad Watson be called out early in a Steve Sarkisian press conference.
No, I really, my belief, and I will caveat this with, I don't think it really matters who starts at D tackle. Everyone's going, who's going to start? It doesn't matter. They've said over and over, it's going to be a hockey-like rotation. There's going to be rotations within drives. It's not just going to be by the drive. It's going to be within drives that these guys are rotating in and out. I think the two starters could end up being Murad Watson and Alex January. I would not be surprised if that's your two guys first out against Ohio State. But I mean, I have somehow heard something about just about every one of them starting. Yeah. Some sites say Travis Shaw is going to be starting. Others say it's going to be Cole Brevard. Some say Hero Canoe. Every single one of them is getting talked about starting. And that tells me that, again, while we don't know if the ceiling of this D tackle room is going to be to the level that it has been the last couple of years, I think the depth of it is going to make it such a stable position.
The floor is going to be so much higher than previous years. I can tell you that much. We might be talking about this defensive line, Jake, like you mentioned, like a hockey line. I'd be like, all right, third line's in. Let's see what Hero Canoe is going to do with Justice Terry. Oh, second line's in. Let's see what Travis Shaw and Cole Brevard do. Oh, first line's in. Let's see what, I mean, it might be to a point to where we're literally talking about these guys like lines. And they're gonna switch them up too. Like the combination aren't going to be the same guys together out there, you know, playing 2D tackle roles. You know, you might have a Murad Watson and a Cole Brevard out there at the same time. I don't know what they're going to do, but I think PK and this coaching staff and is just salivating at the thought of what these guys are going to be capable of doing.
Yeah, I think that you know, with this defensive line essentially goes 6 deep. That's assuming some of the freshmen don't find their way. I've heard really good things about Josiah Sharma. Justice Terry might get some pass rush snaps inside. He's also going to be playing some edge this year. Sounds like he's going to be a little bit hybrid and more of a pass rush this year while he builds his body up ready to be. But Josiah Sharman's like 325 pounds. He's ready to go. It's just a matter of getting him up to speed to, college techniques and things like that. But this could end up being a 7-8 deep defensive line if they stay healthy and some of these younger guys come along.
And you talk about if you stay healthy. Hey, one or two guys go down, it's not the end of the world having the amount of depth that Texas has. Now, we don't wish injury or want injuries to happen to anybody, but if it happens, because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, at least you feel like you're somewhat secure, especially at the defensive line position. Speaking of injury news, Jake, Nick Brooks was out there playing today. He did, or not today, but on Monday. Per Sark, Nick Brooks out there, practicing with the team. So huge news.
It sounded like a full participant too. Yeah. When everyone was kind of reporting he was likely going to miss some time. So that was pretty unexpected in my opinion. But obviously it's very good news because tackle, you talk about things that could cost this team and this program a chance at winning a national title this year. Depth at the offensive line is probably number one, without a doubt, and especially the tackle position now because you've already lost one for the year. They need to be healthy as this year goes on, and him coming back is a big deal.
Yeah. All right, Jake, that's going to do it for today's episode. That is your daily fix for all things Texas Longhorns. Again, if you've made it this far throughout the entire episode, there's no reason why you shouldn't already be subscribed to the channel. We're trying to get to 800 subscribers before week 1, that Ohio State game. And again, that counts college game day. So, hey, if you're wanting some Texas Longhorn news and you're watching college game day and you see that we're at 799 subscribers at that point, go ahead and hit that smash or hit that subscribe button, and we'll go
18 subscribers away from it. We should definitely hit that before week 1.
We can make 18, guys. We can make 18 subscribers in a couple of weeks. So with that being said, like, share, and subscribe. This has been your daily fix for all things Texas Longhorns right here on All In Horns. As always, ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
All in Sports Network. We love sports.